Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs and today I have these really pretty rainbow floral cards to share with you. So let's jump right in. So I want to start off just quickly saying that I am very sick, so please bear with me as I get through the voiceover. I put this off as long as I could to try to get my voice back, and this is about as good as it gets. So bear with me as I work through this. These cards are for my May challenge. If you don't know, I'm running challenges over on my Facebook group. You can check out the link down below if you want to join. And for this challenge, the challenge for the month is florals. So any card that's made within May that has a floral theme, it can be entered in my challenge. You just go over to the Facebook group. You of course have to request to join. It's just to stop anybody who's not actually into crafting to joining the group. And then you can upload your image to the Facebook album and the one that's like listed May. And then, yeah, we just share the cards over there. It's really great. So if you are interested, there is a link below that, and there's a post on the group that goes through all of this stuff, just in case I've missed anything. But yeah, so I am making a 5-card set for this. I needed something kind of simple, kind of fun. As I said, have been very sick for a while, and I'm struggling to get much done. And I didn't want to miss videos. You guys know that I consider this my job, so it's really important to me to, make sure that my posts go up on time. So I wanted to create something kind of fun and simple. So I cut down my cards. You guys know I like to do all of my cutting to start with. I cut my black mat to be about 1/8 of an inch smaller than my A2 base, which when scored is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then my white panel that I'm actually going to be working on is cut to 1/4 of an inch smaller than my A2 base, giving me this just really fun border. And then I brought in my Distress ink minis. I don't use my Distress inks very often. You guys know, if you've been with my channel for a while, I prefer the oxides, but for a very vibrant background, the inks are phenomenal because they are like dye inks tend to be very bright in color. So I wanted to use them for a fun, vibrant spring card. And I wanted to do this kind of just simple card. So you just take your little ink cube and you just smear it across the page and there you go, you get your color. But I found that they were very dry. Sadly, because I don't use them very often, I didn't realize how dry they were. So I just decided to re-ink them, and I thought I'd leave this clip in just for anybody who, doesn't know how or didn't know you could or wanted to see it in action. I'm just re-inking my little cubes, and you can see how quickly the ink is getting absorbed. That's because they are very, very dry. So you can see I started with the first panel there, and I really struggled to get the ink down. I had to swipe it several times. And I also had to change up my blue. I originally was going to use Broken China, but I realized I don't have a re-inker for Broken China. So I switched it out and I used Peacock feathers instead. So my colors are Picked Raspberry, Carved Pumpkin, Squeezed Lemonade, Twisted Citron, Peacock feathers, and Wilted Violet. And then of course I have the matching re-inkers for that as well. And then I thought it would be fun to, change up the first color in my rainbow every time we made one. So I started with my pink, and then the next one I did orange as the first color, and then the next one I'll do yellow as the next color. And I just thought that was kind of a fun way to make a set that has a little bit of variation, but still, looks like the rainbow. Because they're still in the correct color order, I'm just starting with a different color every time. And I just thought that was kind of a fun way to do this. So of course you don't have to do that, and you don't have to do rainbow colors. My whole goal is just to inspire you to make something. If all you took from this was that Distress ink minis are a lot of fun to play with, then that's phenomenal. I just really want to inspire people to create, because I do often hear people say that they aren't creative or they can't create or, that kind of stuff. And I don't think that's true. I think it's a skill like anything else. And I think that, we are very inspired by others. So hopefully you get some inspiration from this and you try something new and you give it a go, because I think it's just a really fun way to play. And if you don't want this to be your background, that's not a problem. Die cut it. If you have a floral die that you really like, die cut it with this kind of blended background with these ink smears and see what you think. My whole goal on my channel is to be inspiring others to create. So hopefully you guys find some kind of fun inspiration from my channel and you'll give something a go. So you can see that I worked through all of the colors here. I'm finishing with the purple. And I don't show it, but later when I've made the cards, I actually take the first ink color on the panel and I smear it on the inside of the card. You'll see what I mean later, but it was just a way to decorate the inside in a very simple manner. And now they're pretty messy, but I'm perfectly okay with that. I want them to be a bit messy, a bit different, a bit textured. I just think it's really pretty. So I'm going to splash on a little bit of perfect pearls that I keep mixed up in a mini mister. And I'm going to splatter that all over the background just to give them a little bit of shimmer and shine, just because I really like that texturally look. I'm also going to splatter on some water, so it's going to give me a lot of texture in the background as well. Again, if you don't like this step, you can totally skip it. It's just something that I really enjoy. So here you can see I have my mister bottle out. I'm just lightly misting each one of these panels, and then that gives me some texture and interest in the background. For my stamping, I am going with one of my favorite floral stamps from Tim Holtz. This is the Floral Trims. If you've been with me for any length of time, you know that I love florals. They are my favorite thing. That and snowflakes. Let's be honest. When Christmas in July comes, you'll know that snowflakes are like my other very big favorite. But I love florals. I think that they lend themselves beautifully to all sorts of designs. They, make everything more elegant. I just think that they're stunning. So bust out your favorite floral stamp and stamp it on a fun smeared background. Like it doesn't have to be a super calculated thing. I am using my Misti here just because I wasn't sure how well I was going to get stamping on the background. So I have a Waffle Flower Mat in my Misti. It's sticky, so it holds my cardstock in place so it doesn't move around. And it allows me to also see the grid lines in the base of the Misti, so that I can line my panel up in the same place every time. Not that you need to, you could stamp different places of the flower across the panel. This was just easier for me because, as I said, I'm not feeling well, so I was trying to make something vibrant that made me smile and, that was quite easy to replicate if it was something that you wanted to try. So I stamped all of the panels, and then I'm going to bring in a sentiment stamp. I opted to make these ones thank you cards just because I have made a lot of birthday cards lately. I do tend towards thank you and birthday. Those seem to be the ones that I need the most. So I tend to kind of grab those sentiments the most. But of course, you could change this up to anything, saying hello, thinking of you, checking in, to hello friend, whatever you want to add, happy birthday. I just opted for thank you. And I do tend towards a more scripty font. That is kind of my preference. And I chose this thank you stamp. I'm making this a 1-dimension card. You could, if you really wanted to, stamp this on black cardstock and white heat emboss it and cut it out. And that would just give you another fun element because it would tie in to the black mat we're going to add. But I'm just stamping it on the panel. I'm trying to keep this simple. I don't think these cards took me terribly too long. And I'm sorry I get a little bit out of frame here. Like I said, I'm just doing my best. This whole situation took me a hot minute, so I'm just trying to do my best here. But I did double stamp the thank you just to make it a little bit more bold against the background. You can see that because it's a bit of a thicker line than the flowers, it does actually stand up pretty well on its own, and I just was reinforcing that by stamping it twice so that it got a really good impression of the sentiment and it can kind of hold its own against the vibrant colors and the florals. Now, because this is me, and you guys will know if you've been with me for any length of time, I cannot resist adding pearls, so I'm going to do that. We're going to adhere everything first, of course, but you don't have to add the embellishments if that's not your jam. I mean, realistically, you don't have to make the same cards as me. If you want to, like if you're new or you're really inspired with this idea and you want to make the exact same cards, feel free. You guys don't have to ask my permission. You absolutely can make the same cards as I've made. My whole, point here is just to inspire you. So if you're terribly inspired by what I've made here and you just want to make the same cards, please do. I get comments sometimes asking if people are okay to make my cards, and absolutely you can. you know, it's 100% that I'm trying to inspire you. So please feel free to remake these cards if that's what you'd like to do, or just take elements of it and kind of make it your own, or however you want to do. I'm just happy that you're creating. So I did go ahead and just adhere this down to the card. This is the mat that we cut a little earlier that's just a little bit larger, and I did end up putting my Misti on top of these just to get them to adhere properly. The water, because this is not a watercolor cardstock, it did warp the page just a touch. So to make sure that they stayed flat as they were adhering, I just stuck my Misti on top of them because it was sitting on my desk. So that helped to hold the papers down while they were adhering. And then I had no problem kind of just getting them to do that. And then now we're gonna add a little bit of foam tape. I just felt like I wanted to give it a little bit of dimension. You don't have to add this step either, but I think with a simpler card design, it does just give it a little bit of something more, a little interest. So I did add this Big Mama foam tape to the back. This is the same roll I've been using now for like 5 years. I did actually purchase a new roll recently, and it's just sitting there staring at me because this roll is huge. It's only about 1/8 of an inch thick. It's incredibly thin, but the roll is quite large, so I've been using it for a very long time. And then I'm just going to peel them off and stick down my cards to the base. I do love that you have a little bit of wiggle room with this. You can see as long as you haven't pressed it down, you can actually lift it up and shift the foam tape, which is something I love about this foam tape. And of course, Mist had to come in and just inspect my project there, and then I guess she approved because she left. So I got to adhere all of the rest of them. And then of course, we're going to bust out some pearls here in a minute. And now I haven't gotten to use these specific pearls yet. I brought out my black pearls, and I don't find I have an occasion to use the black ones quite as often as the white or the cream. So I really enjoyed using these. You guys know, again, like I said, if you've been with me for any length of time, I love pearl embellishments. I just think they add something just a little bit special to the card design. So I did bust those out. I added them across around the thank you sentiment there. And I think that these cards just turned out really, really pretty. I think it's kind of a deceptive card design because they are fairly simple, but they just look stunning. So I hope you guys will, give this design a chance if you're at all interested. Come and check out the challenge if that's of interest to you as well. I'd love to have you. Like I said, the link to the Facebook group is in the description. You can click on it. You do have to answer 2 questions. They're very straightforward. Just how you heard about the channel, about the Facebook page, and that you're going to be, respectful to others. Just those 2 questions, and then I will accept you, and then you can come and, join in the challenge. And I do choose someone at the end of the month randomly, and they get a little goodie in the mail from me. So that is pretty fun, I think. And this is our 3rd month of a challenge, or 3rd challenge of 3 months, I guess. I don't even know how to word that. So here is the cards I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed them. Here you can see where I told you that I did the little ink smear inside of the card to match the first color on the panel. I just thought that was kind of a little fun detail to do a little bit of something on the inside and add a little bit of interest. So hopefully that was kind of a fun card project. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you'll leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. And so I have some fun stuff coming up. Christmas in July is of course coming, and I do have some handmade journals and that kind of stuff coming as well. So, and as always, thank you so much to my members. You guys are phenomenal. You make it so that I can continue creating, videos for free, and you help me to kind of support my dreams. So thank you so much. And if you're at all interested in the membership, that's also linked below. You can go check that out. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.